welcome to the Oregon Files podcast. First, our disclaimer. We are amateur podcasters simply for entertainment. If we misquote or offend, it was not on purpose to do so. Also, we're recording from an attic space and have dogs, neighbors, well-wishers, so you might hear all kinds of fun stuff in the background. Thank you and enjoy, and here's Elliot Bowman.
Thanks, Mark. Good intro, buddy. I was going to say some wind chimes, but we don't have wind chimes in here. Happy December 16th, episode 11. We are just rolling right through these. Thank you for everyone that's listened to the episodes, yes. Everyone that has supported. It's been such a cool reaction and just super appreciative of everyone that's taken the time out of their day to listen to our little humble podcast. Yeah, I'm excited. Of course, this is going to be our Christmas episode, and we have some good topics to discuss, and I'll hand it back to you, sir.
All right. First thing we got to kick off is our sponsor. It's our first sponsor, and it's one of our favorite companies. It's Video Games Plus and Level Up Frozen Yogurt, located in Roseburg, Oregon, off Stevens. They are open 7 days a week. The yogurt section is closed for the month of December, but the Video Games Plus section is wide open. Get some good Christmas gifts. They have really cool gift certificates. Great selection of stuff, more than just video games. They got DVDs and Blu-rays, all kinds of stuff.
Frisbees.
Yep, they got disc
Pokemon
golf.
cards.
Yeah, Pokemon cards. Oh,
belts,
wallets.
All right.
Posters.
Shirts. Yeah.
Shirts. All right. Today's topic, we're going to go over something a little interesting I found, and it's called the Cold Case Cowboys. Have you heard of this before?
No, but when you told me about it, the imagery in my head is Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday, and just cowboys riding to get revenge or seeking to sort out some vengeance on some bad guys. But
you are not far off.
I love the name. Next, CSI, Cold Case Cowboys.
This would be a show that should be on TV.
Right.
So I'm going to read the first part of this. I'm going to read is actually two different articles. Time Magazine, it's a Time staff writer by Thomas Alex Tizone, and then the other part is going to be actually from Stone Phillips from NBC. So I kind of combined their two different articles that they did around 2004, 2006 is where I got this information. So we'll start at the beginning here. Approximately 6,000 slayings go unsolved each year in the United States. An estimated 200,000 have gone cold since 1960.
Wow.
Yeah, that's more than the population of some cities.
How much? 200,000?
200,000 have gone cold since 1960. Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Douglas County spreads out over 5,000 square miles, and it's an area larger than Connecticut. Now, homicides are still a shock to Douglas County. So we have they say about 4 to 8 homicides a year. It's always a big news story.
Yeah, we don't get much homicide. Usually our crime is like petty stuff.
Very petty, somebody's thinking something's not theirs.
All right.
The police logs.
So I was going to say, rewind, see back for police logs if you're looking for Douglas County crime.
I'm blown away with this. Yeah, the stuff with the police logs. When this newspaper article was written, it said there was about 12 unsolved murders in Douglas County at the time. And so the Douglas County Sheriff put an ad in local papers. Says wanted volunteers to solve cold cases. So this was in our news review. So in October of that year, the Sheriff's Office got dozens of applicants, and the pool got whittled down to 4. The Sheriff's Department ran background checks, conducted interviews, and 4 made the cut, forming America's first all-volunteer cold case squad. The squad is made up of 4 retired cops who just happened to settle in Roseburg. They didn't know one another, although all 4 of them spent the majority of their life in law enforcement in California. The joke is that in these parts is that Oregon is where California cops come to die. All right, so first on this list we have Sid Boyle. He was 64 at the time. He's a crime scene and fingerprint expert with 30 years investigations. Boyle is tougher than a basket of snakes, but he also makes birdhouses and plays with electric trains.
Now, is there tougher than a basket of snakes?
Yep, and then you're followed by you make birdhouses and plays with electric trains. He also used to ride the rodeo, and he's currently a rancher with over 100 head of cattle. That's Sid Boyle. Second in charge is Tom Hall. He's about 60 at the time of this article. He's a formal federal investigator with the U.S. Postal Service, specializing in bombs and forensics. In his spare time, he reenacts the Pony Express. He likes to craft things out of wood. Next, we have Thomas Schultz, he's 69 at the time. He's a former polygraph examiner, and his specialty is interrogations.
So this is just the dream team they just put together.
It's amazing.
Forensics, bomb squad, lie detector test.
Yep. Yes. And then the last one is Al Olson. He was
Big
a
Al.
police chief for 17 years. And he actually prefers to make his home on the golf range. Together, they have over 100 years experience.
Solves the crime of the hole-in-ones, huh?
I love it.
What's his hobby is just golfing? He doesn't whittle anything or any
Everyone else
birdhouses.
has other stuff.
He's not tougher than
I'm going to golf.
He's not tougher than a bag of rocks.
So this is from Thomas Schultz. This is his comment here in the article. There's a little rumor up and down the hallway that are just going to watch these old guys come in, have a cup of coffee, send out for donuts. But to a lesser degree, we're kind of supervised ourselves, and we never did get any donuts. I love that part.
I don't believe that part.
So here we go. So their first case, in 1998, in the mountains near Roseburg, hikers stumbled across the remains of Benny King, a local teenager who had his share of run-ins with the law and a record of convictions which included theft, robbery, drug possession, and menacing. King had been out on bail awaiting trial for rape when he vanished back in 1975. King was a handsome boy with long, straight blonde hair, had joined a motorcycle gang called the Brothers of the Wind. Never heard of them.
Do you think they broke off every so often?
Oh, man. They were notorious in the 1970s for using and selling drugs in the area. Now, one look at Benny King's skull told the Cowboys how King died. He was shot point blank in the face.
Oof.
The sheriff's department had followed up on the discovery of Benny King's remains, but with limited time and resources, investigators were unable to solve the mystery. The case had gone cold until the Cowboys came in. Now, what they found out, so the stack of files they looked was actually, they said it was about 3 inches thick of all the interviews and that kind of stuff they're trying to solve. But there was something that was very interesting to the cold case Cowboys, and it led the Cowboys to a man named Johnny Carlos Tinker. In previous statements to police, Tinker admitted driving Benny King to a party that night he disappeared. But Tinker insisted that King had left with some other men in a blue Volkswagen. Tinker told police, jumped out the Cowboys, and a police report at the time, Tinker further claimed that he had hitched back to Roseburg. So all of a sudden he had an inconsistent
Suspect
story.
number one.
Yes. They wondered why Tinker would have hitchhiked home if he had driven to the party that night, as he claimed. So the statement of him hitchhiking back to Roseburg after he drove Benny out to the park was just made us think something's not right here. So locating Tinker was easy enough. He was serving time in Oregon prison for an unrelated crime. When the Cowboys paid him a visit, he wasn't what you'd call cooperative. He's going to shuffle up and give us this jailhouse shuffle. I don't know anything about it. Didn't do it, you know.
Which is a dance.
Yeah.
It's a jailhouse shuffle. Do they ride in on horses?
They all wear cowboy hats.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Okay.
Wrangler jeans.
No horses, though?
So during interrogation, he changed his tune. His demeanor of sitting there with his hands folded actually collapsed. His arms came down and his facial expression changed, and he said, "You know this? Oh my God," and it changed from there. Tinker was telling all that he'd killed Benny King. So it took it 3 decades after he was killed. As for why he confessed, Tinker told the Cowboys they had him cold because he caught them in the lie about... Isn't that funny that one little thing blew the case open?
So they just like intimidated him and...
Well, they kept asking, like, hey, how come in this one interview you said you hitchhiked home? But
So they just caught him in the lie and...
They caught him in the lie. Tinker, it was almost like they knew what I was going to say, and they scripted what they were going to say because they had answers to everything, you know? Tinker pleaded guilty and is now serving life in prison for the murder of Benny King. Tinker said he was grateful because the guilt had eaten him away ever since he'd done the murder. And what was wild is that at the trial, when he was in the courtroom, instead of saying something derogatory, he actually gave the cold case Cowboys a thumb up and said thank you.
Probably on his mind for 30 years.
Yes.
Guilty conscience.
The reason that Tinker killed King is that King had raped someone, and Tinker didn't think it was okay. And so he wasn't going to wait for the
taking
jury.
justice to his own hands.
So
he's the original Punisher, huh?
Yeah. So that's how that went down. The second story is in 1988, a woman disappeared in Douglas County, an apparent murder, but her body was never found. This time, the cold case Cowboys would prove that they can track down a killer, dead or alive. Barbara Jo Gallagher was 32 when she vanished. She'd been living with her boyfriend, Robert Barr. By the time the Cowboys were on the case, Barr was dead and had committed suicide.
Oh,
yeah.
Sketchy.
You know, right there. I'm
right.
Sorry. So the Cowboys discovered that Barr had a pattern of violent behavior towards women. Through interviews and research, they established that before Barbara Gallagher disappeared, Barr had threatened to kill his first wife And after Gallagher vanished, he made good on threat to murder his third wife before finally turning the gun on himself.
Man, who keeps marrying? He's not disclosing something, obviously.
Yeah. Like, you been before? Oh, no.
No. Yeah.
What happened to your first two wives? Oh.
So what are your interests? Golfing and watching cartoons on Saturday mornings.
Yeah. You're not getting any of it.
Nothing to do with guns.
They said they found 25 exact similarities in all three of the women when they were treated them. They were just mirror images of each other, which is really weird.
Huh.
It was enough to satisfy Barbara Gallagher's family and the Oregon authorities, who pronounced Barr responsible for her death.
I feel like that's pretty common, though, for serial killers and murderers. They kind of have identifying characteristics of their victims,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, certain types.
Certain types that they like to kill.
Yeah. I've been watching this show called Cold Case Files.
Uh-huh.
And it's trippy because a lot of them happened back in like the 70s, 80s, early 90s, before technology really kind of caught up with like cameras and cell phones and stuff. So many people are just like, people break into people's houses and do bad stuff. I'm going, man, today's world, like I have like my ring, I got my cell phone, I got dogs. Like there's so many things that would alert me to something in my house now.
Well, you can even just go on Amazon and buy like a security cameras for like $25.
Yes.
I mean, there's right.
Yeah. No, I love my ring. So now we're going to go over to so they are now credited with solving 2 cases, but now we're going to go to 2 of the open cases right now.
Mm-hmm.
So in October 1995, Dennis Ray Smith, a retired Navy petty officer, disappeared. He enjoyed eating steak, eating shrimp, drinking beers and margarita, and minding his own business.
My kind of guy.
I love that part where he's minding your own business. Like that's like
right. He ate alone. Don't bother him.
Don't bother him. And you ask him, like, what do you want to put in the article? It's mind my own business.
Mind my own business. And mention what I like to drink and eat, please.
2 years after Smith went missing, his body was discovered by a real estate agent and surveyor looking behind the house where he once lived. The surveyor had found a tarp, lifted the tarp, and went to look, and it was Mr. Smith.
Just a tarp? Like a tarp is just... Body. How long was the tarp there for?
2 years. So here's my thing about this. How do you not notice this for 2 years, though?
A smell, for one.
There's so many questions.
And where the tarp was just like off to the side somewhere, but like nobody took the initiative and be like, I wonder what's under that tarp for 2 years.
So it's funny you say that because there's certain things they can't disclose because only the killer would know them. So when they're doing these,
because it's an open investigation,
yes, they can only say certain things. So you're right. You and I have a bunch of questions.
Right.
They do know that he was shot in the head. One piece of evidence that stands out is this is really weird. An anonymous letter the Smith family received long before the body was found, telling the family that he choked in his sleep. There was no name and no signature. So he disappears. They don't find the body yet, and the family gets a letter saying that he choked in his sleep.
So somebody choked him in his sleep, and then they just put the body
why
up.
Shoot him in the head then? When they found the body.
That's true.
Yeah,
so it's not.
The letter was to lead him off something, you know.
Right.
Whoever wrote the letter knew that Dennis Smith wasn't just missing, but was dead. But if he was really choked in sleep, why would there have been buried in a shallow grave behind the house? So it was a little bit of a grave. The Cowboys are reluctant to say anything more for fear of compromising their leads, but they remain cautiously confident that their progress will yield something here soon. They say it doesn't take forensic genius or anything fancy to solve cold cases. I like it.
Wow, man, shots fired. I gotta disagrry on that one because how many shows do you see where it's like cold cases have been active for like 30 years and they're still trying to solve them? Exactly. I mean, that's all right. Just because you solve 2, don't mean that you're the experts on cold case. I mean, the cockiness of that. Oh, yeah. Well, it's easy. Yeah, solve cold cases, right?
I love it. They attribute their success to the ability to focus on one case at a time, a luxury not given to most detectives who often most juggle a dozen or more cases. Freedom helps too, the freedom to work as they please. They only work about 6 to 8 hours a week.
You know what? We should come up with like cold case, like who ate the somebody's meal out of a refrigerator at workplaces. You know, we can do like
small petty crimes,
right?
Extra petty,
cold case refrigerator thefts.
That's funny. That's because it's cold case. Yeah.
Right. Cold case sandwiches.
I love it. Now the next article is from actually Monday, April 20th, 2015, from KPIC in Roseburg.
Pretty recent.
Yep. The Douglas County Sheriff's Cold Case Squad is asking for public's help in solving an unsolved homicide. Occurred in 1977. Barbara Soper, age 35, was a night clerk at 7-Eleven store located in Garden Valley Boulevard, which in 1977 was unincorporated Douglas County. The store is no longer in existence, but it's now Walgreens. So it's where that
Interesting.
Walgreens is. Yeah. In the early morning hours of January 13th, 1977, Soper was at work and made a call for help. During the call, voices could be heard in the background. When police arrived, she was found murdered behind the checkout counter. That's all they know. If anyone has any information about this case, please call the Sheriff's Office Cold Case Unit, 541-440-4446.
You would 2015. There's no you got no security cameras. 2015.
No, that's when they.
Oh, I see. It was 1977. Okay, got it.
You can also email the unit at the coldcase@co.douglas.or.us. And you can leave a message with contact information. So a little back history on the name, the CCC, so Cold Case Cowboys. This actually comes from their website. So get this, they actually have an official website at thecoldcasecowboys.com. And they talk about the cases they solved and that kind of stuff. So this is from their direct website. The name CCC came primarily as a result of how we dressed. Wrangler jeans, Western shirts, and cowboy hats and boots. We have inspired and helped within the formation of several similar volunteer squads throughout the country. We offer a workshop to any other law enforcement agency that is interested in forming their own. Now, in 2009, it became necessary to disassociate the name Cold Case Cowboys from the Cold Case Squad. They've been a subject to a great deal of media attention. In a news review about 10 times. Similar stories have been picked up by wire services and reprinted in papers all over the country. On January 29, 2004, they were in the LA Times, which we read some of that article. They've been on Fox News, A&E's Cold Case Files, appearance on NBC's Dateline with Stone Phillips. It was filmed here in Roseburg, Oregon, in January 29, 2006. And that is that.
I hope they all dress the same type of jeans, same type of shirt, same hat. I hope they just coordinate outfits to be more of the Cold Case Cowboys.
Also at the same time too.
I hope they all drive Broncos.
I feel like a Walker Texas Ranger.
You're right, yeah. Chuck Norris. Like famous cold cases around here was Stephanie Condon.
Yes.
Right? I think one of the old famous ones. I don't think this will ever. Well, a couple of them, Kyron
Horn.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
I think
crazy that ties to Roseburg.
Right.
Last I heard, that's where she moved.
Correct. Yeah, correct. And then I think JonBenet Ramsey. That seems like that will never get solved.
That one wasn't the Lindbergh baby, Charles Lindbergh's baby.
Yeah,
that was a weird one too.
Yeah, that was a weird one. I thought I don't know, a little before our time, but yeah. I just remember the JonBenet Ramsey one, just in like school and stuff. Just remember my mom watching stuff on TV about it, but
yeah, that was a really weird one.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Somebody wrote a letter. If the parents were like jealous or something about the success of their kid. I don't know. There's some weird things around that one, but maybe it'll get solved.
That one,
Cold Case Cowboys, you hear that? We challenge you, Cold Case Cowboys.
No kidding.
Go get them.
The Cold Case Cowboys have an opening now. Thomas Schultz, the senior member of the group, has decided to go out and solve cold cases on his own.
Oh, branching out. Sort of alone.
And then my favorite part is the whole article is that Sid thinks he should be played by Clint Eastwood if they ever make a movie.
Heck yes.
I love that.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's the Cold Case Cowboys. Yeah. Well, I was trying to find anything newer from 2015. I couldn't find it. But these guys were already old back in 2004, 2006 when they started doing this. So,
sure.
Not sure how much they are still around, but man, that would be a good interview for the podcast.
For sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Cold Case Cowboys, if you hear this, or if somebody hears this and you know a Cold Case Cowboy, reach out to us, OregonFilesPodcast@yahoo.com.
We will get you donuts.
We will get your donuts.
We will get you donuts.
We will order you donuts.
I promise.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah, that's
good stuff.
That was I got. Once again, there's a bunch of stuff online about it. I tried to find the Cold Case file they talked about. I couldn't find it, the episode. I'm sure eventually I'll come across it. But
yeah,
it's cool that, news review. That I love the fact that Stone Phillips and Dateline came here in Roseburg, Oregon at one time to do this interview and stuff.
Stone Phillips. What a great name for a reporter. Stone Phillips. Good transition from Cold Case is since it's cold this time of year. It is the year, or it is Christmas time. And do you have any Christmas traditions you guys do? You things you do every year? You cook same kind of Christmas morning breakfast? You guys do Christmas Eve presents? I see. I walked up today and I see you barely put out your lights. You got something hanging on your door.
That's the worst part. So here's the deal. My wife, she's not as big into Christmas as I am.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of compromise.
Okay.
So what you saw out there for Christmas lights,
that was it.
That was
just on the porch.
Yeah, because we don't, and so I keep trying to do certain traditions. Like I like to do like breakfast bake for Christmas morning.
Yeah.
And it has like sausage and bacon and like scrambled eggs, that kind of stuff. But I've made it for a couple of years going on. But now like most of my family's vegan now, so it's like you can eat it, and it's like everyone's
leftovers are only good so long in the fridge or whatever. Yeah.
We do Christmas presents on the morning of. Usually over within 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Being with family, that kind of stuff. We try to do like a lot of games, a lot of board games, and that kind of stuff. So,
yeah.
How about you?
We do Christmas Eve is when we do the whole shindig. We do Christmas Eve. We do save like the what we call like the Santa presents for the Christmas morning, even though the kids are a little older. We do that Christmas morning. And then we just make like biscuits and gravy or something for Christmas morning breakfast.
Do you have family over on Christmas Day, or do you guys keep
No, we kind of keep it pretty low profile because we do Christmas Eve is usually we kind of like rotate households on who gets Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve. So this year it's sister-in-law's house. So down Tri-Cities, Riddle area, somewhere down there. Okay. So
very cool.
Yeah, and then we usually play games, eat food, and be merry. Yes. Yeah. It's always like a hot debate on what to eat. Nobody can decide on something. We were going to do spaghetti or Italian, but we'll do sandwiches.
There you go. We did sandwiches one year, but sometimes do like a honey baked ham in the crock pot or something,
Right. And kids are hard to buy for as they get older.
Oh,
it's hard to entertain them.
We gave up. This year is getting stockings.
Yeah.
Stockings and emotional support.
Emotional support. Yeah. Another Chihuahua.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Santas.
Yes.
I have some cool information on what it takes to be a mall Santa.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to preface this. I probably didn't say that right. If there's mall Santas out there that hear this, if I'm blowing up any secrets, I apologize. But I'm going to blame this on a website. It's called mentalfloss.com.
Yes.
They provided what it takes to be a mall Santa. Numero uno, they go to Santa College. If you ever want to be a mall Santa, there's a good chance that you have to graduate from a Santa University. It's run by NOR Programs Corporation, the events company that trains and distributes Santa to more than 278 major malls and shopping centers across the country.
Wow. So
each NOR Santa has to pass background checks. They go through rigorous interviews. A real beard is actually required.
Really?
It's part of the magic, they said.
Okay.
So the director of PR, her name is Ruth Rosenquist. So every August, the Santas are hosted in Arvada, Colorado. Hundreds of gentlemen of great mirth and girth. That's in quote. So they're gentlemen of great mirth and girth. They gather for 4 days on training on everything from Santa ethics on how to specifically to do ho ho ho. According to the PR director, it's amazing to sit with all these guys in their red shirts and suspenders.
So this would be the best place to ever commit a crime.
Oh my gosh. Everyone looks the same, right? You look up, you're speaking to Santa. It's the best audience in the world. That sounds like incredible.
I want to work the hotel.
That sounds incredible. It's probably the happiest people, to be around.
I would open a restaurant called Milk and Cookies.
Milk.
I'd be open 24/7.
It's perfect.
Just like a great
it's perfect.
Right.
So another rule they have to follow: they always have to stay in character. You can't go if you're going to be a mall Santa. You can't fall out of your character. The most important thing is you have to understand that Santa has to remain in character. You can't break it. For some more professional Saint Nics, the white beard and the big belly stays with them all year. They're dedicated to their craft. They have to be careful about how they're representing their jolly old elf in public. So that means one of the best fielding questions like Santa, what are you doing at the grocery store?
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing.
Santa.
Oh, man.
You smell like beef and cheese.
Yeah. Smells like lies.
Right. Robert Hildreth, a professional Santa of 30 years, says he doesn't drink when he goes out for dinner with his wife, Carol, aka Mrs. Claus, because he wants to be a model image of Santa for children. He says, in quotes, "You gotta watch what you say and do because kids are looking at you all times." But playing a convincing Santa all year round comes with its perks. They get free meals. That's cool.
That's cool.
Whenever they get noticed in restaurants, he'll go over and talk to them a bit. And when we go to pay the bills, it's already taken care of.
I love it.
Apparently, there's a secret bathroom in malls. That's hard to believe.
It's hard.
Actually, no, I don't know. There's a lot of tunnels and stuff in malls. I don't know. The more I think about it, there's probably
just for Santas. I bet like the owner of the mall.
Yeah, right. They probably make them feel this is just for you guys. Right?
Yeah,
Are you sure? Because cleaning person's back there using it too.
Yeah, exactly.
There's always like a wet sign in in the bathroom. The whole deal of being Santa, particularly at the mall, is when you're dressed as Santa, you have to stay in character, and it's kind of hard in a Santa suit staying in front of a character in front of a urinal. Goes on to say they're in the restroom in the mall. It's the most obscure and private. If I had trouble finding those, I find the nearest department store and use one of their restrooms that's out of the way. There's like 8 paragraphs to go on about what bathroom they use. Because I don't want to run into like awkward situations and be like, but who's really going to be like, if there's Santa in the back. I mean, obviously it's the mall Santa. You're really going to be bugging them.
But then again, if I was a little kid, I saw like
Santa. Yeah, the kid, I get it. Right. I'm ruined.
So stinky.
Santa. Can I sit on your lap now?
No.
Santas, they actually secretly swap whenever they need to take a lunch break or if their shift ends. Sometimes another one will step in without you even noticing it. In the busiest malls, they often set up, there are 2 Santas and they try to match kind of what their physical appearance looks like.
Wow.
But they don't want anyone saying or knowing. They don't want anyone to realize, say, hey, that's not Santa. A lot of times, even parents and especially kids, if they didn't see them together, they wouldn't even know which one was which.
That's amazing.
There's twinsies.
That's
Santa's twinsies. According to this PR guy, Rosenquist, they get a bodyguard. Every Nor Santa gets an escort when he leaves the set. This is supposed to discourage the mob of fans from attacking him. A mob? Is there really a mob of fans? I don't know about nowadays.
Santa's extra cautious now with the coronavirus stuff.
I was going to say, I feel like the mall Santa's kind of probably a dying breed, you know?
The mall's a dying thing, man.
That's true. Yeah, that probably just comes with the territory.
Oof.
All right, so there's also a right and a wrong way to bleach a beard. A lot of naturally bearded Santas are blessed with snowy white bristles. Others aren't so lucky. In that case, bleaching is the best option, but only when it's done gradually and with great care. It's got to be done in stages. If you try to go too snowy, if you try to go snowy white all at once, you'll burn your hair and it gets yellow.
Imagine, that's the worst. I think this is on Santa's lap and it smells like bleach.
You know?
Yeah.
And then you're working so hard to be a Santa, and the one thing you screw up is bleaching your beard hair.
Yellow beard like you.
Right. Apparently, they begin preparations in October for the holiday season to get your beard nice and white. So they didn't disclose how much money
I've always wondered that.
they make, but apparently it's a salaried position. The rates vary by different locations. I guess it depends, what the mall is willing to pay your Santas. Seniority helps. The more experience a Santa has under his belt, the bigger his paycheck. There's an 18-year vet. He can make about $30,000 in one season.
Okay.
Just to be Santas. I mean, that's a good...
That's pretty good, because then you have another,
10
months to do something else.
Right. And you're St. Nick from beginning November? Maybe mid-November to the end of December? 30,000?
Well,
I mean,
I gotta tell my wife that I gotta take the Santa.
Shoot,
I'm gonna gain some weight.
Hey, you know what? You can do like virtual Santa.
That's true, Zoom Santa.
Yeah. Elves.
Yep.
Hey, you heard it first. Virtual Santa. For some comparison, according to Cheeky Report from insurance information site insure.com, the real Santa Claus would earn roughly about $140,000 a year if he were compensated for all the work he does, including overseeing the toy factory and piling the sleigh on Christmas Eve. How do you determine that's how much Santa would really get paid? You know what? He gets paid in holiday cheer and seeing kids bright and merry. So good. They might even know sign language.
Yeah.
So the Nord teaches Santa's in-key ASL gestures so they can communicate with deaf children. They also are advised to learn Spanish. So Rosenquist goes on to say the demand for Santas of different races and backgrounds is growing.
Cool.
We're in a lot of markets, and they are heavily Hispanic. So having bilingual Santas is of supreme importance, she says. Sorry, I said he earlier. She. There's a secret Santa greeting. In public, Santas speak in code to one another.
Whoa.
As a camaraderie. I'll go up and ask him if he's been good this year. That's a giveaway. Or if a Santa lookalike answers to Brother in Red, you know you're talking to Saint Nick.
Because I'm going to see a guy.
You're just going to whisper to him?
You been a good boy this year?
Brother in Red?
Yeah.
Right, Hell Hydra. A round belly is not required. You don't necessarily have to have a belly full of jelly, Rosenquist says. We don't measure our Santas by their weights, we measure them by their hearts.
Aww.
Now, ain't that sweet?
That's precious. I wish my doctor would do that.
The training program actually includes a session on how to eat properly and avoid the health risks that comes with being Santa.
What?
Like heart disease and diabetes. So, they want you to be, what did it say, girth and worth, or whatever that saying was.
Yeah.
But we care about diabetes and heart disease.
There's always a catch.
You can be big, but you can't be bigger.
Yeah.
Right?
You can be a healthy way.
Right. If Santa needs a bigger belly to be convincing, then he can be enhanced with padding. What if the pillow falls out?
Yeah.
A kid sits on your lap or like jumps on you and like the pillow like comes out or something. I don't know. Or whatever they use. Right. Some Santas also wear makeup to maintain a rosy glow. Gives me number 30 rouge for the cheeks and maybe a little touch on the nose to give him a little bit a weathered look. Okay. One actor told This American Life. They have to study.
Okay.
So one of the things they have to at their fingertips is the culture of this is culture that goes with Santa. This goes way beyond being able to recite the names of Santa's reindeer. They try to keep up with every new movie or TV show, which Santa makes an appearance and memorize the plot so he's not caught off guard by an inquisitive child.
Wow.
You can get blown away by a new movie or new movie out this season that you haven't seen yet.
It rewrites our history.
Right? But the kid has seen like 6 times. They ask you details about what happened in the movie and you don't know what's going on. So you try to keep up. They go through toy catalogs to make sure they know, what's in season. So in a nutshell, it's like staying current. Like any dentist or doctor has to read professional journals. It's kind of like the same with Santa.
That checks out.
There's a lot to be Santa Claus. They'll ask Mrs. Claus if it's code for I don't want to answer that. Oh, they don't want to answer a question. They'll say, I'll ask Mrs. Claus.
That's awesome. That's a good out. I use that with my wife.
They blame a lot on Mrs. Claus. If anything comes up that's questionable, I'll say, I have to check with Mrs. Claus about that. It really diffuses a lot of skepticism.
I love it. That's a good out. But
Mrs. Claus does more than just take blame for shortcomings. She often helps shy kids feel more comfortable.
Aww.
Sometimes the little ones are afraid of the big guy in the red suit and the beard, and they'll come to someone who looks like grandma. Oh, so they'll sit on Mrs. Claus's lap instead of Santa. This one's kind of interesting. They're actually not allowed to make promises. So one of the worst things a mall Santa can do is promise a kid they're going to get a certain present, for Christmas. You don't want to do that because you don't know what the situation is at home. And they hate crying baby photos.
Aww.
But for some reason, parents love them.
That's
Unfortunately, some think that's the things that they have to do. I do everything they can avoid. Parents say it's okay if they cry, but the crying picture is not any fun for the kid, and it's not fun for the Santa either. The best way to avoid a screaming, sobbing child is for the parents to stay close to the kid rather than shoving the kid in the Santa's lap and walking away. Here, watch my kid for 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a photo of her. Yeah.
Oh man, some of the people slug their kids around like a 10 pounds of potato. Santa goes on to say, I had a woman in the mall who almost tossed a child to me. She let go of the kid before I had a grip on the kid, then walked away, and I was wondering why the kid was crying. Parents are the worst part of the whole thing about being Santa.
That's hilarious.
Oh, not every Santa can nail the signature laugh.
Okay.
Interesting enough, there are Santas who just can't say ho, ho, ho. We try to get them to do it, but for some reason, it's just not in their nature. The professionals have their own liability insurance.
Oh,
they
wow.
carry about $2 million of liability insurance. And most of all, to be a good mall Santa, you have to be a good listener.
Yeah.
The most important thing about being a mall Santa is to lend an ear to kids who might be feeling lost. Being with Santa might be the best thing that's going to happen to these kids all day.
Aww.
I try to make it warm and affirming and raise them up. Everyone needs affirmation. Some kids ask for the impossible, like the return of a deceased family member or a reunion between divorced parents. Good grief. There are some things Santa can't do, but we'll pray with them, Holland says. Another thing I like to do is tell them that as long as they remember the person who is gone, they're still with them. You have to really philosophize with some of them and tell them in a way that makes sense and that everything is going to be okay.
Wow, that is crazy.
From the beginning, going to college, to the end, just being a good person.
You gotta be fat, but watch what you eat.
That's the best.
That was like the way takeaway.
That's the one takeaway.
Jeez.
That's what was running through your head. Can I do this and eat what I want?
Yeah, I thought I had a meal ticket there.
Right? Yes, I've been played. I turned it down.
Me too.
Because it was for an adult party, and they wanted me to have adults come sit on my lap to be Santa. It wasn't for kids.
I would have chosen that. I was asked to be a Santa twice by the same person, and what made me mad, or didn't make me mad, but I called him out on it the second time he asked me. I was like, "You're the same size as me.
Yeah,
How
you
dare
do
you?"
it.
Yeah. You picked me because someone asked you to do it. And you're trying to brush it off over here.
Yeah.
I was onto that one.
Well, in like our podcast traditions, we have dad jokes.
Yes.
And of course, these will be some good old Christmas dad jokes.
Yes.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I feel like these are the best I've had in a long time.
Okay.
In a long time. I'd say they're a long time, but it's been like 11 episodes.
I'm going to share one Christmas story real quick.
Oh, I'm ready. Do it.
And I know you've heard this one because it's one of my go-to stories. It's a true story. This really happened. When I was working at Fred Meyer, fresh out of high school.
Yeah.
I was in the toy department, and it was those times when shopping was a big thing. Like the stores were jam-packed every day. And the big toy of that season was Tickle Me Elmo.
Yes.
And
good toy.
Great toy. And we were in the Fred Meyer here in Roseburg. We were so excited to get one box of it, right? And so we would advertise them every hour. You would go into the PA system. And they had this whole script, like you would squeeze his paw or his foot, and he would giggle.
Yeah.
And then you would say, "Hey, we have Tickle Me Elmo's back in the toy department," right?
Yeah.
Super easy to do.
You poke his belly.
You poke his belly. You grab his paw. Like he everywhere you grabbed him, he giggled. Right? Super simple. It's my turn to do it. I'm all excited. I'm super nervous because it was like midday on a Saturday. Hundreds of people there. I go into the PA system, so you hear a click on, and I grab his hand. I grab Elmo's hand. I want to be very clear here. I grab his hand, and Elmo, over the loudspeaker, goes, "Elmo's not ticklish there." Then I said a swear because I'm like, "Oh no!" And then you hear a click, and then I heard my name paged by every manager on duty. And my favorite
Mark to the manager's office, please.
Mark to the manager's office. My favorite part was the manager on scene. He comes, finds me in the stock room. So, "Where'd you touch Elmo?"
I promise. I just tried to tickle him.
Yeah, I just tried to tickle him.
There's probably a lot of good Christmas stories out there. I have one. My daughter was probably 5 or 6 when she was into Barbie. She wanted a Barbie car.
Okay.
And she wanted like a what do you call it, where they can drive it themselves?
Remote control?
No, like the oh man, I can't even think of it.
Like Barbie drives or
that she can drive. Yeah, like a Power Wheel. She wanted like a Power Wheel. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So we got her a little one that only like a Barbie doll would fit.
Oh.
And she opens it up, and I remember she opened it up, she threw it down on the ground, and she started crying. I wanted a real Barbie car, and it was just like, I don't know, one of the cutest things ever because she really wanted a Barbie car. But
Did you ever get it?
she got like a Barbie car for her Barbies. We got like a Barbie Jeep like years later.
Yeah, the Jeep was easier to obtain, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
It's funny.
So, all right, on to the Santa dad jokes. What do Santa's little helpers learn at school?
I got nothing.
The alphabet.
That's fair.
What do you call a snowman with a six-pack?
Oh boy, I got nothing.
The abdominal snowman.
You know, that checks out. I like it.
What did one snowman say to the other? So stupid.
I have no idea.
Do you smell carrots?
That's so good. I love that one so much.
What do you call a bankrupt Santa?
I have no idea.
Saint Nicholas.
Saint Nicholas. Dang it, I knew there was something around there.
What's every elf's favorite type of music?
Christmas rap.
Rap, yeah, sure.
Yeah!
Rap. Christmas rap. Where does Santa keep all his money?
The snowbank.
At the snowbank.
Yeah.
What do you get when you cross a snowman with a vampire?
A snowman with a vampire?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Frostbite.
Yeah.
What do elves post on social media?
Elfies?
Elfies.
Yes!
Why can't penguins fly?
I got nothing.
They're not tall enough to be pilots.
That's so good.
All right, last one. What happened to the man who stole an advent calendar?
His days are numbered.
He got 25 days.
Wow. Yours is better. Okay.
Boom.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Okay. All right. If you want to be a sponsor, if you have questions, if you want to be on the podcast, Organ Files Podcast at yahoo.com.
Yes.
And then where can people hear us?
Hear us. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon, Alexa. You can Google Oregon Files Podcast and we should come up in your search. Check us out on Facebook, Oregon Files Podcast page. And if you can't find us for whatever reason, let us know. If you're wanting to listen to us, thank you. If you tell a friend, tell a neighbor, we appreciate it. And again, like I said at the beginning of this, we super appreciate all the listening, all the comments and the support. And it's just literally Mark and I in his attic winging this thing, man. So we truly appreciate it. So Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks.